It is a mindset shift of regardless of what's happening in the economy, I need to take this action to improve my life, to improve my legacy, to live my legacy instead of waiting, right? I'm going to live it while I'm building it. I want those opportunities now, regardless of what happens.
Hey everybody, Mike Banner here for the latest episode of 62 Who Knew. You know, I always say I'm excited about our guest, but today is someone very, very special, someone that I actually met through C-Suites. I know I've mentioned this before, but just 10 weeks ago, I joined a company called C-Suites, which is probably probably the largest and most influential networking, I guess that's what you would call it, networking companies
Community,
in the country.
yeah.
And I have been able to meet so many great people. When I say great people, not just great people from the heart, but people with hundreds of thousands of followers, people with TV shows, people that are quite special that I never thought I would meet. They've also published 2 of my national articles, and I just want to give the right prompts to C-Suites. It's just a pleasure to be part of them. But I don't think without C-Suites I would have met this incredible person. Her bio. This is her bio, so I'm not going to read her whole bio because you're going to go, would you just let her talk already? Which is what my producer, Anthony, is saying right now. Would you just get to it already? Please. I'm going to read a little of her bio because it's just incredible. Today we welcome Lady Jen Du Plessis, Dame Commander. Yes, real Dame Commander. An award-winning international speaker, Lady Jen has delivered speeches at venues such as NASDAQ, the National Press Club, as well in cities including Paris, London, and places throughout Mexico, Canada, and Australia. She has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, Good Morning America, Fox, Sirius XM, and Voice America Radio, and so many more. But I want to get going, and I want to turn the show over to her. Interestingly enough, welcome, Lady Jen, first of all. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What staggers me about everything that you've accomplished and what really hit me here was you started out in the mortgage business.
Yeah.
I started out in the mortgage business 44 years ago. I still haven't been able to outgrow it, but that's why I have 62 Who Knew. So tell us a little bit how you went from mortgage person to basically, well, not only being a Dame Commander, you have to tell us a little bit about that, but how you went from mortgage person to, quite frankly, international influencer. Tell us a little bit about the mortgage person that turned into what you are now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started a long time ago. So here's what happened. I went to college for, I was going to be a cardiologist, so I was pre-med.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
And
many people go from cardiology to mortgages. Yeah, that's a normal trend.
Right. I know, isn't that crazy? But you know what? I have a better life, had a better life than they did because they were trapped inside of a hospital, right? And I made way, way, way more than they do. So so anyway, you know how you have that one class or that one professor just turns you off on whatever you're doing, and I shifted and I went into architectural design and construction engineering. And that's what I ended up getting my degree in. And as a woman, I was the only woman in a class of 67 men. And when I graduated, I couldn't find a job in the industry because this was like breaking ground, right? And so I went to Snelling, which if you're in 62, who knew, right? You know, these employment places, right? Went there and they sent me on 2 job interviews. One was to a mortgage company and the other was to a bank. And I never made it to the bank, thank God, because I wouldn't have wanted to take that route. And I knew rates were 18.5%, but I didn't understand percent. I didn't understand anything. So just getting right into it. And I was a receptionist slash file opener. I think they called it back then. I don't know. I would open up files and stuff and that. And then I became an underwriter. A matter of fact, my underwriting number is A421 with FHA.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Underwriting
I was
numbers
one
now,
of the first
Anthony,
delegated
are 6
underwriters.
digits.
Yes, right. I was one of the first delegated FHA underwriters, and I worked with an S&L that sold to Freddie Mac. So we were one of the first to sell to Freddie Mac. And so I underwrote for many years, but then I realized these loan officers are making all this money. They have all this freedom. and I could do a better job. And I was tired of talking to paper and wanted to talk to people.
Hmm.
So after being in executive roles, etc., I decided to move into origination, and the rest is history. Ended up being in the top 200 loan officers in the country 5 times. Had funded over $400 million in revenue, or $1 billion in loans,
Wow.
generated $400 million in revenue. So here's where it all started. Was then everybody wanted to know, how did you do it? Can you come speak on my stage? Can you share your story? Do you have a team? Da 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 da. And I heard about this thing called a podcast. And I said, maybe I could answer questions through a podcast. And at that time, they were audio only. I did it in my closet. And they were they were audio only. They were monologues. There were no interviewing or anything. And I did it with my cell phone and my earbuds, and not buds, my earphones. And you could hear my dog in the background trying to get into my closet. It was just a chaotic mess. And but that's what started to put me on the spotlight for speaking and doing all of that. And honestly, if I had not done that podcast, I would simply be a retired loan officer. But my goal was retire at 55, retire before I had to say 40 in the industry, and fund
Hmm.
$1 billion. I funded $1 billion on Friday with a $522,000 loan. On Monday, May 22nd, 522, I quit. I left
Hmm.
because I had accomplished all the things I wanted to do. So it was under my terms, not someone else's. And the trajectory was now, going into speaking and helping others scale their business and build teams as well. So,
What an incredible story. So when exactly did you come out of the closet?
yeah, I know. 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was officially not in the mortgage business, but yeah. And so 15 years ago is when I started the podcast. So I had a nice overlap as I, left and
Yeah.
exited. And we just celebrated 15 years on January 1st. And that's only one of my podcasts. Now I have three. So
Yes. And your
overachiever.
podcast that I'm going to be on about mortgages is the oldest and one of the most successful and most
Hmm.
watched podcasts
Yeah.
in the nation. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. Longest running.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And what are
Thank
the
you.
other two? Tell the audience about the other two.
Yeah. The second one is called Success to Significance: Life After Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. What
Very
do we
cool.
do? We're all successful, and now we want to be significant. And this is very, very perfect and poignant for 62 who knew, because I believe that in life we learn, we earn, and then we want to give back and return, right? So we learn, we earn,
Yes.
return. And this time frame that we're all in, this is where we're thinking about that. It's like, what do I want to give back? I've had this success. Now, how do I have this significance, this life after breaking through all these ceilings? What does it look like? How do I impact the world? So that's where that came from. And then the most recent one is a little over a year old, called Business on the Vine. And that's because I love wine, and we have an interest in a vineyard. So we go into the vineyards. It's a TV show as well that's repurposed as a podcast. We do an interview, drinking wine, sharing wine, right? And talking about business, all things about business.
Well, we could fill so much time with this, and I want to get on to some of
Mhm.
the bigger and greater things that you do. But I have to
Mhm.
ask you, because I know that I don't remember. I'm almost sure it was Groucho Marx who said on Johnny Carson in the 1970s, "I would never belong to a club that would have a member like me." Might have
Yeah.
been W.C. Fields, Anthony. I don't remember, but it was one of those.
I'll look it up.
And sometimes that's it. My research department is looking that up.
Thank you.
But I love my mortgage brothers and sisters. I do.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
I've built a niche over the last 20 years, besides my regular mortgages, in the reverse mortgage world,
Hmm.
which is a
Yep.
highly misunderstood product that is surrounded by half truths and misinformation. But still, I love my mortgage brothers and sisters. But sometimes I do feel like I'm the member of a club that I wouldn't want to be, have a member like me, because it's changed.
It is Groucho.
Mhm.
It was
It is Groucho Marx.
it was Groucho Marx.
That's
Thank you.
gotcha.
What do you see about what's evolved in the last, we won't say how many years, so we won't date each other, how many years, I've been licensed a lot of decades.
Yeah, me too.
The industry has changed, and I know
Yeah.
technology is a staggering thing. We approve loans now in minutes, we close in days,
Mhm.
which I don't understand why. There's very rarely a reason to do that, but every TV commercial, every LinkedIn ad, we
Oh,
can
it's all
close your
about we
loan
can
in seven
close.
days.
We have great
Yeah,
service. Yeah.
what seller is getting out of their house in 7 days?
Mhm.
It's one of those pointless, things it's clickbait. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
What are you seeing about
Mhm.
how this industry has matured or maybe immatured in the last 20 years?
Yeah, I would say it's immatured. Definitely. Is it okay if I be a disruptor? You can
Be
edit
a
me out.
disruptor. This is what we do. We're
You can edit
disruptors.
me out
Do
if
we have
you
a
want.
disruptor sound? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, Anthony.
You can't handle the
There
truth.
we go. One
That's
of
it.
our rare
That's it.
62 who knew sound effects. Yes, thank you.
That's
Tell
it.
the truth. Be a disruptor.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, when I got into the business, especially when I started selling, I was working with a company. The only thing we offered was NAGAM loans. That was it. There was a rate sheet that would come out, I think, once a month about fixed rate. Never did a fixed rate loan. Not saying as an underwriter, I didn't do all that. It's just when I
Yeah,
started selling. So I was fortunate that I was selling a product that required consultative sales, not pitching, not product driven, but consulting for people. And and I could run a calculator. I still can run a calculator circles around anyone who's got a license because
yeah.
they don't know how to do. We had to do APRs and truth and lendings by hand. And I remember saying, I'm doing a truth in lending, right? Don't bother me. I'm doing a truth in lending, And so we're over there trying to manually do all that. And I didn't mean that later on, but time value money, blended interest rates. People that are
Hmm.
new in the industry have no clue what that means.
That is
Absolutely
correct.
no clue. They don't know how to figure that out, right? They don't know how to amortize by hand. And I'm not dating myself. This isn't what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that we've dumbed ourselves down because of the technology. And so it leaves nothing but price. And then everybody complains about price. Well, they're rate shopping me, Well, they don't know what else to do because you've not provided any value. No value whatsoever.
That's
And
right.
so you chose to be in this industry. You chose to act in the way that you're acting, perform the way you're performing, have your brand be the way your brand is. And I can close on time. I have great service. We have great rates. Nobody cares. You can get that anywhere. So what
That's
makes
right.
you different? What makes you help this client not have a glorified rental, but have a wealth building tool in their mortgage? Whether it's a
Hmm.
forward or a reverse mortgage, it doesn't matter.
That's
It,
right.
it just doesn't matter. So it's not about rate. I remember when NAGAM loans came out for the regular community of brokers
Hmm.
and lenders, and they didn't call them NAGAM, they called them option loans because they're afraid to
Yes.
sell NAGAM. And we were saying, hey,
They
it's
were
a
afraid
negative.
to tell the truth.
Right, right. Your credit card is a NAGAM loan. If you make the minimum payment, you are negatively amortizing the balance on your credit card. That's the bottom line. You can choose to pay more. You can choose to pay it off. You can choose to pay different amounts every month. That is what a NAGAM loan was, is that you had the options to do it, and hence the word option. But people that stepped into that were saying, I want the best rate. Okay, if you want the best rate, I'm going to give you a rate of 1.25. 1.25. I'm biting on that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you all the pitfalls and help you understand because I don't understand it. You just said you wanted the best rate. So the best rate in the world, I call it the neutron loan. It kills you and leaves your house standing.
Hmm. No, it's so,
It's not
it's
about
funny
rate.
that the
Yeah.
Negam loans, one of the,
Oh, I'm
it just
passionate
was,
about that. Sorry.
I know well, I'm so glad you are. You are you're being a good, I don't know if you're being a disruptor. You're being a flash of light,
Yeah.
in a dark world. I remember this like it was yesterday, and we're in the 80s now. If we're
Yep.
talking about
That's
the
when we
pick a
started.
payment
That's
or
right.
things like that, and I'm at American Fitness, which is no longer around. And you know how gym people talk. You're not really
Mhm.
friends. You're gym friends. And I hear somebody, on their cell phone, well, tell the title company this, tell the this. Okay. So when he comes back to the area that we're all in, and this was a young guy, I was younger, but this was a young guy that looked like he could bench press the building, Lady Jen. He was muscle on muscle. I said, "You in the mortgage business?" He goes, "Yeah, and I'm having this problem with this closing." And I said, "Hey, I'm in the mortgage." I was probably about 10, 15 years older than him, and we were talking. Where do you work? And he, savings. I'm just going to say it because it's not
Savings
around
and
anymore
loan.
anyway.
Yeah.
Savings of America. I
Oh,
went, oh, and he went, "Why did you give me that?" Oh. I said, because all you do is neg am loans and you don't disclose them correctly. I do them too, but I disclose correctly, and I also give other options. He looked at me so serious, and he went, it shows you how much older I was. He went, "Sir, we don't do neg am loans." And I went, "That's all you do." Now, you ready for this? I remember it like it was
Home
yesterday.
Savings of America.
He
I
went,
know who it is. HSA.
right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
looked at me straight in the eye and went, "We do." You ready for this? Positive principal enhancement loans.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
even though the guy was twice my size, and I'm not a fighter, wasn't then, I'm not now, I turned around and went, "The F did you just say?" Except I didn't say F. He said, "Our loans are positive principal enhancement." I said, "Do you understand that means the principal goes up
Right.
every time they make a payment?"
Positive
That's
principal
right. I said, "That's the definition of neg am." They didn't have Google back then, so I couldn't say Google it. I went, "Do you understand?" I mean, I was livid. And he looked at me and went, and I have to give him credit. He went, "Yeah, that is neg am." I got positive principle. You should go to prison for saying those words.
Oh, my gosh.
But the industry has gotten cuckoo. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And
it
to this
is.
day.
It's just order takers and, product, and even some of the clients that I serve, they're still lenders. I serve business people, but I also serve lenders as well. And, they go, "I have 2 minutes in front of a real estate." And I go, "What are you going to talk about?" I'm going to talk about our new 203K renovation loan. No, you're not.
No.
And I give them a special thing, which I'll give to you afterwards, because our
All right, good.
listeners are not lenders. I'll tell you what I do, and I
Okay.
just make everybody upset.
I like that. Well, let's talk a bit more now. Quite frankly, if you were, I'm a dinosaur in the mortgage world. In fact, I have.
Well, it would be 43 years today, this month. Yeah. Actually, no, I just passed it. It was March 31st that I got in. So yeah, I just passed 43 years. I still consider
I'm
myself to be in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 44 years. Obviously, to our viewers, we were both licensed when we were 12 years
Yes.
old. We got special permission
That's right.
to do that when we were very young. Whether you're purchasing a new home or refinancing the one you love, one thing has never changed. Mortgages remain the most inexpensive cost of funds available. And in today's market, choosing the right mortgage professional can save you thousands and help secure your financial future. That's why the 62 Who Knew podcast partners with American Pacific Mortgage, one of the nation's most respected lenders, helping homeowners make smart decisions at every stage of life. Visit 62whoknew.com to learn how the right mortgage strategy can power your retirement plan. As we live longer than any generation before us, one question becomes more important than ever. Will your income last as long as you do? On the 62 Who Knew podcast, we dive deep into the strategies that protect your future. And at the center of every strong retirement plan is guaranteed income. Annuities create income you cannot outlive. They provide stability, protection, and peace of mind, no matter what the market does. Visit 62whoknew.com and start planning the rest of your life today. But let's get away from the mortgage world for a little second.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but let's talk about the environment in this country, because you're one of the few people that are equipped to talk about this. Rates right now are in the high fives, low sixes. A little help from the seller, which people are not used to talking about. Most loan officers, no, you don't ask the seller for anything. That's not the world anymore.
Yeah.
You get a little help from the seller. Our rates are in the high fives. Inventory is back. Okay. A couple of years ago, no inventory. Oh my God. The country shouldn't just be doing well. It should be prospering. Rates in the fives, lots of inventory. People are making money. Yes, we have inflation. And yes, this great country is in a very, very weird place. What's happening in the Mideast, we try not to get political here.
Right.
But the country and the real estate community, which of course the mortgage community is tied to, is frozen in fear. You have people that are going through what I call the the COVID syndrome. I have a 2.5. I have a 3% mortgage. I'm not moving. Well, do you want to move? Yes. Do you need to move? Yes. But I'm not getting rid of this 3% mortgage. I'm going to wait for rates to be 3%. And I tell people, your grandchildren will be dead before we see 3% rates again in this
Yeah,
country.
good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Realtors are sitting around all the time. I just did a video on this that got thousands of views. Well, you know, when rates come down, what are you waiting for? The country does seem to be frozen in fear, and it does not affecting the real estate community. It's affecting all communities. What do you see about that?
Um, yeah, by the way, I think all real estate is regional and local. You know that. I mean, we've heard that
Mm-hmm.
for years and years. I think that it depends on where you're at. I live outside of Washington, D.C., in Virginia. And we are always doing really well here. I mean, I live in the wealthiest county in the United States called Loudoun County. It's the wealthiest county in the United States. And people move. Here's how I'm going to describe this. It's very interesting because I've never described it this way, but I'm going to have some fun with this. Old
Good.
money and new money.
Mm-hmm.
Old money versus new money. People that have old money, and we're specifically here on this show talking about 62 who knew that I would not have any money, who knew that I would have lots of cash or I would have lots of equity in my home, but no cash, right?
That's right.
And so there's what I see is a difference between people that have the old money, that have learned how to save, that have invested in, we, didn't talk about this, but loan officers who don't invest in anything because
Which
they're
is all of
they're
them.
a feast and famine, right? And when it's feast,
Yes.
they buy $25,000 watches to prove to somebody instead of putting that away,
So true.
right? Realtors, same thing. They don't buy, they have maybe a house, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a second home, but they're not real estate investors. And I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
everybody isn't, but a very small group is not, because I also coach on real estate investing. And so what I find is that those that had what I mean by old money is they planted the seed early on and let it grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's the old money, right? They are in a better position to make maneuvers regardless of what's happening in the economy and the world and with rates. And this is one of the reasons why so I, generated $400 million in revenue in my mortgage tenure. I had my own mortgage company too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, $400 million in revenue. And I did that with 22 relationships,
Wow.
22 partners. And yes, peppered stuff would come in, but I focused
Of
on
course.
22 people. Of the 22, 4 were realtors,
Ah.
only 4. Here's why. Realtors focus on, for me, they're home services. They have
Mm-hmm.
the home inspection, the appraisal, decorating, staging, right? Everything is home services. And the only part of this, and forgive me, realtors, if you are listening, I don't mean it's badly, but you sure know what 6% of a purchase price is, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the extent of financial knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have loan officers, right, who are the other side of this. So the balance of the 22 were financial planners,
Mm-hmm.
estate attorneys, divorce attorneys. I was certified mortgage planning specialist, and I was a certified divorce lending professional. Not because I was divorced, because I'll be married 43 years this year, but
To the same person?
same person. High school
Wow,
sweethearts. Yeah.
that's cool. My older daughter married her high school sweetheart, and they're going strong at 20 plus years.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. So what I did is I thought, okay, I'm in the mortgage business. Let me focus on financial services, because what I'm doing is creating a wealth building, strategy for my clients, not a home services strategy where I get plucked into the deal, sort of, kinda, on 3
Mm-hmm.
lines, right? But I'm creating a financial strategy. So here's what I found when I work with financial planners and everybody else, regardless of what rates are doing, regardless of how the market is going, I mean, how the real estate market is going, how the world is going, whoever is president or not president, or governor and not governor, right? Regardless, life happens. And if we focus
Mm-hmm.
on life events as we are entering our older, our season, our fall season, right?
Yes.
If we're focusing on life events as opposed to whatever the market is, we're going to be able to achieve our financial goals much easier and much faster. So people die when rates are high. People
Mm-hmm.
die when rates are low. People get divorced when rates are high. People get divorced when rates are low. People get married even though there's a conflict going on with Iran, right? People will continue to have life events. They'll have children. They'll go to college. They'll graduate from college. They'll graduate from high school. They'll have grandkids that they want to put together some type of a savings fund for them.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. And that's where the focus is. And that's what I mean by old money. So people who have that mindset that I don't care what's happening in the economy. What I care about is that I need to right size right now.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have that second home today, not wait for it one day that I might be able to enjoy it, but enjoy it now and leverage
Mm-hmm.
to get it. That's what I mean by old money. It is a mindset shift of regardless of what's happening in the economy, I need to take this action to improve my life, to improve my legacy, to live my legacy instead of waiting, right? I'm going to live it while I'm building it. I want those opportunities now, regardless of what happens. So my opinion is and it's my counsel. Those that are moving and shaking right now will benefit later over someone who's going to wait.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
that's that new money mentality of, oh, I got to save every penny and I got to spend it. A girlfriend of mine, she just complained about 18 months. She's like, 18 months, my husband hasn't had his job and I've been supporting the whole family. And she's a financial planner. And she's telling me all this stuff the other day. And in the same breath, and she goes, oh, and I have to show you my new car. I just got this new car. And I go, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, is it brand new? And she goes, yeah. And I go, did you buy it? No, I leased it. And I'm going, what? That's the mentality, right? It's not the millionaire next door mentality. And that's where we all need to be at this age. We need to be thinking like the millionaire next door.
I agree.
Okay. And I'll step off my soapbox.
No, no, that was a
That was
good.
a
I don't think
long
that.
question or long answer.
No, no,
Sorry.
that wasn't a soapbox. That was a comment on reality.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, and again, our industry, everybody is familiar, no matter what they do with for a living, with the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
20% of the people. I really think in today's mortgage, real estate, financial planning, insurance world, I think it might be a 90-10 rule.
Yeah. Oh, it
It's
definitely
just,
is.
I read a statistic, and I don't usually trust statistics, but this one came out of NAR, the
Yeah.
National Association of
Yeah.
Realtors, and so I'm kind of believing it. And from what I know and what I do through my mortgage career, it's there's almost 3 million real estate agents in this country, and this latest statistic said 74% of them in 2025 didn't sell one
One
home.
house. Right.
That's a staggering, and then 48% of them sold two.
Yeah.
So when you do the numbers, it's not 80-20. It's like basically 10, maybe 15% of the real estate agents in this country know what they're doing and are making a living.
Right. Yet loan officers are clamoring for realtors who make substantially less than they do.
Yeah.
That's why shine your light someplace else. Shine your
Mm-hmm.
light someplace else. And for those that are listening from the consumer perspective, work with a loan officer who isn't auctioning off their rate, right? Because
That's
we
right.
used to laugh about it all the time. We go, hey, bit, right? Do I hear
Yeah.
6? No, 6. They won't take 6. I got to get this closed because my rent's due next month. Hey, will you take 5 3/4, 5 3/4, 5 3/4?
Mm-hmm.
Sold.
Yeah.
Stop
I've
auctioning
always
off
said,
yourself.
I've spent most of my career. I work for an absolutely wonderful company now called American Pacific Mortgage, ninth largest independent lender in the country, a national sponsor of the 62 Who Knew podcast. And I work with just some tremendous people. They do all sorts of great things. But the great majority of my life was a father and son mortgage brokerage company. To all my mortgage broker friends out there, I love being a broker. Bankers are snobs. They put down brokers, but I love being a broker. I'm a banker now, a mortgage banker now. But truth of the matter is, I've always said that if I'm within a quarter to 3/8 of a point of the best rate you can find. I mean, because now, especially with online, you go on the internet, you go, here, oh my God, you got a bank that's, planning on rates coming down, so they're portfolioing 50 million and they're a quarter of a point below market. If you're a quarter to 3/8 of a point, in my opinion, the last 10 years, within the best rates out there, you're a little worse, quarter to 3/8, but you're doing the service, you're closing on time, you're doing an honest, good faith estimate. I think that's incredible. But thanks to technology, thanks to this, if you're more than that, you don't get a chance to tell your story because
Yeah.
the client goes online. And even though Joe Blow Realtor says, do business with Mike Banner, I've known him for 30 years. I mean, his father's gone now. I did business with his father 20 years. You got to go to Mike Banner. And I quote them a great rate, and they love me, and this is what we're going to do. And I have a podcast, and I write for the Wall Street Journal. Oh, my God, Michael, I can't wait to do this with you. And then a day later, they call up and go, Michael, I'm so sorry. I mean, my wife went online, and we have 12 people that are beating you by a half a point, but thank you anyway.
Yeah.
Technology has made the world rate shoppers.
Yeah.
And it's taken away from what we really do for a living. But the younger generation, God, that makes me sound old, just doesn't get it.
No.
They'd rather do business with a minimum wage person on the phone that maybe will close your loan on time, maybe not.
But they won't guide you. They don't even have a mortgage, right? If they don't even have a mortgage themselves. And, and I always told people, look, there's 365 days a year. There's more than 365 loan officers and companies out there. No one is going to have the best rate every day. Every day. So what we have to do is focus not on the rate, but on the structure of the payment. And I used to take my clients to, who was the website you looked at? Oh, Wells Fargo. Hey, let's go there. Is that what you saw? Yeah. Okay. So here's the asterisk. Let's go down.
Yep.
It's asking for 20% down. You're talking about putting 5% down. It's asking for 2 points. You're not paying any points.
That's right.
It's asking for a 720 credit score. Yours is 718.
Yeah, or 622.
Or whatever it is, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't meet it. So while it looks good on the surface, we need to dig deeper. And that's why I'm a certified mortgage planner, right? Just like a certified financial planner. I help you with your mortgage. My job is to manage your assets and see that and work and be client-centric, not worry about what's good for me. And quite frankly, I don't care if you take an ARM. I don't care if you put 30% down, 20% down, because the differential is so nominal to what my commission is, because it's a flat commission on a loan amount. And it's not going to change no matter what you do. So I don't care what you do, but it's my job, my fiduciary responsibility to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when you ask me which would you prefer, I'm not going to say like most other loan officers say, well, I don't know, it's your loan, you decide. I'm going to say based on my expertise and what you want, my recommendation would be to do this.
Are you turning 65? Well, if so, the most important decision in your life right now is to determine which Medicare plan you need to be on for your unique changes in life. Are you still working? You on your employer's plan? How about being a snowbird? If so, you need to speak to a Medicare consultant who can help you with your needs. I'm Diane Daniels, and I'm the CEO of Medicare Nation. Go to www.62whoknew.com and click on the Medicare Nation tab. I will give you a free consultation to make sure we find the right plan for your unique needs.
What's the biggest threat to your retirement savings? It's not the stock market. It's the cost of long-term care. Home care, assisted living, or nursing facilities can drain your life savings in just a few years. That's why long-term care insurance isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It protects your assets, preserves your independence, and gives your family peace of mind. Don't leave your future to chance. Visit 62whoknew.com and start planning the retirement you deserve. Well, you said a magic word too that a lot of young people aren't even familiar with, and that's fiduciary. Mortgage people and realtors and great ones act as if they have a fiduciary responsibility, but they don't.
No.
Certified financial planners do have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's right by their client, or they'll lose their license. And they can be even liable civilly in
Right,
court.
right.
That's a real fiduciary. It
Correct.
is kind of sad that realtors
Don't
and
perceive that
mortgage
they
people
do.
are not obligated to have that fiduciary
That's correct, but I
responsibility.
do, because that's how
Hmm.
you've done and how I've done loans, and then loans for their kids, right?
Hmm.
The loans for people that we did, in the early stages, and then later did loans for their children. And that's how you have a sustainable business. That's how you create a great reputation. I still get referrals from people, from realtors
Hmm.
out of the blue that are like, "Hey, I have a client." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't do that anymore for 10 years." So that
Yeah.
does that tell you whether we had a relationship or not?
Yes. And you will refer to me as commander from now on, not loan officer.
Yes, the
Let me
commander.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Yes, commander. I wouldn't mind calling you commander. I'll be honest. I think that's the coolest thing I've ever
Yeah.
known somebody. I haven't met you yet, but
Well,
I
that
know
means
you. Um,
I'm an elevated dame. That's all it is. Yeah.
you're an elevated dame.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a hell of a compliment in today's world.
Yeah.
Let's go on something that we usually don't talk about before we go, because you and I could fill up a 3-hour show,
Yeah.
and we don't want to do that. But before we go much further, I am addicted, even though I'm a dinosaur, to AI. I have
Uh-huh.
been addicted for about 8 to 9 months. And it has helped me do tremendous things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, tremendous things. But from what I'm reading, there may not be, this is going to scare the hell out of people, Anthony. There may not be a need for a real estate agent, an appraiser, a title company, a mortgage person,
Uh-huh.
and maybe even financial planners,
Uh-huh.
insurance agents, when AI can find you the absolute best of the best and then take your application basically without asking you a question, because all your information from medical
Is out
to
there.
financial
Mhm.
to is all out there.
Mhm.
And this isn't 10 years away or 15 years away. I'm reading it's 2 to 3 years away.
Mhm.
And our young producers going, yeah, that's the way I want it. I want to be replaced with a machine, baby.
That's
My generation, that scares the hell out of. But what's going to happen? I mean, the real estate industry and its attached arms, mortgages, real estate, title, home inspections, is the biggest industry in the United States of America. Maybe another thing that comes close is the auto industry, because with the auto industry you have repairmen, gasoline tanks, tires. But I do believe that's true. I believe in the next few years, and I mean 3 years or less, there's not going to be a need for me. Well, except for my witticism on my 62 new podcast and my smiling face. What do you think about that when there's not going to be a need? Because I don't think it's coming. I think it's here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's here too. I mean, that's disruptive leadership, by the way. It's recognizing that a new direction has to happen, right? Whereas incumbent loan officers that have been sitting on their laurels for so long aren't adapting. And at some point, they have to adapt. And now they're behind the eight ball, right? They're way behind the curve. And a disruptive leader looks for innovative, effective ways to not change the process, but streamline it, right? Make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't know the answer to that question because we don't know the future. But what I would say is that anyone who in any industry needs to get their hands wrapped around AI. My husband fought it and said it was stupid, and now I find him doing it all the time, asking it
Mm-hmm.
everything and working with it. So the early adapters, and by the way, it's not even been around for 2 years. It's been around for almost 8. And I coach
Mm-hmm.
my son does options trading. I coach my son in his company, and they've been using AI and bots for years and years. And so it's not even new, right? It's not even new, but it's the awareness has improved. So my perspective on this is that I think there's 2 things I want to talk about. Number 1, don't be afraid of it. Learn it. Really learn it. As a business owner, for those of us that are still in business and still working, it needs to learn you as quickly as possible. So uploading any articles, uploading every interview, uploading your systems, whatever they may be, 18 different
Mm-hmm.
systems the business needs to have, right? Uploading your system making sure that it knows who you are and
Mm-hmm.
challenging it, saying, that doesn't sound quite like me. Go read that again. Now you'll understand. I don't use those words. Don't throw words in my mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting it to understand you is one of the biggest things that I do. Every week I upload all new things. Hey, learn more about me. Learn more about me. That's number one. And the reason why you want to do that is because, well, and this goes to the second piece of it, right? Those who know how to operate in AI are still going to have jobs because not everybody will adapt.
Mm-hmm.
How many people use their cell phone to pay for groceries versus pulling out a credit card to pay for groceries,
Right.
right? When the cell phone ability has been there to just tap. So not
Mm-hmm.
everyone is going to adapt, but those who have adapted and can work for people to help them, to teach them, or to be able to solve problems, I think are going to be number one, really important. Now, this is a little iffy, okay? In Chat GPT, for example, and there's several chats out there, but in Chat GPT, there's a feature that you can have everything that you're asking it to be public. So as you're creating new IP for yourself, it goes public. Anyone can take it. There's a feature that you can turn it off and have it
Wow.
be an enclosed AI where it's learning you, you're learning it, and it's not sharing any of your IP with the world. So in the case where everyone's saying the AI is going to be able to solve cancer, which I already think the solution's here and it's just being kept from us, but
I believe that since the 1980s,
yeah.
but that's
So,
another
right,
that's another
but
show.
yeah, but it's gonna be able to cure cancer because it's reaching for all the things that are being put in out there to everybody. So there's
Mm-hmm.
2 thoughts here. One is teach AI and then at some point open it up so that when people do need someone other than a tech position to make more to decide on mortgages and life insurance policies and all of that, that your name shows up. So I'm containing mine now until I get the IP that I want in there. I'm making some changes in a few things, and then I'll open it up so that I can be, you know how you go into AI and say, what's the best place to buy pizza? And those places come up. It's because they're open, right? They're allowing that information to be out there. So that could be a good play because I have wanted for thousands of years, not really. I've wanted since the Great Recession, when people came into me who did not get loans with me, who are upside down on their mortgages, crying, and I would have a bottle of Pepto-Bismol, I would have a glass of wine, and I would have tissues on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your fancy because this is going to be painful. But what they would do is they would leave and just say, thank you for helping me. I know we can't refinance. I know we can't sell, and so we would do a virtual refinance, restructure the way they pay so they could get themselves in the perfect position, right? We
Right.
called it a virtual refinance. And they would say, what could I pay you? And I would say, gosh, I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could make money for consulting.
Mm-hmm.
I would be just as fine. If everybody wants to do tech for a mortgage company, that's fine. But if they want a consultant, it's going to be few and far between to be found because the rest will go bye-bye, right? Few
That's
and
right.
far between. And now I'm a consultant. I will consult you on the 5 offers you got digitally from all these companies,
Mm-hmm.
and I will help you discern and make a decision what would be best for you. And you can pay me $2,000-3,000 for
Yeah.
an hour-long consultation versus 6 weeks of, "Please go with me. My rates are okay. I'll make a deal
Yeah.
for you."
What is going to happen, in your opinion, to that 6% real estate fee when AI is doing 99% of the work?
I still think it's gonna be there. I do think that realtors are still
Really?
gonna have that piece of it because, AI cannot walk into your house and tell you what you need to change, what pictures need to go, what things need to be cleaned so that you can put your house in the best light. So if that's not there, right, if that 6%, that consultation is not there, then you're gonna have to lower your price, and it's
Mm-hmm.
6 of one, half dozen the other. It's the same
Yeah.
position.
People don't get that.
That
Yeah.
it's just the same position, you lower your price. So that's where their value is in, consulting to show the house in the best light possible, to be the negotiator. AI can't
Mm-hmm.
negotiate. AI
Yeah.
can't offer, you know, a free dog. if you take this
Yeah,
offer.
or I need you to pay 5% of my closing costs. People are complaining a lot lately about the 6% real estate commission. I see it everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's
And
not
again, I
written
kind of
anywhere.
blame,
It's not a
well,
rule.
but I kind of blame the real estate industry for that,
Yeah,
because a great real estate agent is worth their weight in gold. They're worth
absolutely.
much more than 6%.
So are loan
But when
officers.
Yeah, and so are loan officers. But when 77% of them didn't sell a house last year, I'm sorry, guys, you can't be designated a great realtor
Yeah.
or a great loan officer.
Because they were
So,
waiting for inventory, right? They were
yeah,
waiting for the market to give them the opportunity rather than finding the life events.
yeah. But a great real estate agent, a professional, successful real estate agent, is not only worth that 6%, it's worth even more. And
Absolutely.
today's generation doesn't get that, because
Yeah.
there's the lazy ones out there.
Right,
So
right.
I want to ask you, go away from a few things that we're doing. It's been a wonderful show. We're going to have a lot of wonderful clips, but everybody has that personal moment.
Hmm.
You wanted to quit when you or retire. I wouldn't say quit, when you hit that $1 billion mark.
Hmm.
But everybody has that personal moment, that transition. I mean, at some point you transcended from incredibly great mortgage originator to an international influencer. I guess that would be the best words for you. What was there something? I talked to so many people. It was a success. It was a grave failure that made me change. It was a death of someone in the family. At what point did you go, yeah, I got my stride now. I don't want to take any more applications. I don't want to do, what's your name, phone number, and social security anymore. I want to help others be better. Was there any one segment of your time where you went, yeah, I know what I want to be when I grow up? Because I'm going to be 68 in 6 weeks, and I still don't know what I want to be when I
Yeah,
grow up.
yeah. I think for me, because I had purposely and intently created and developed a exit strategy for the business, which I think a lot of people don't do. Like, with just
No.
what happened, last year with DEI, all of a sudden, poof, your job is gone, or poof, the business closed, whatever it may be. We are not in control of that, and I wanted that control. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be very clear about what my exit strategy was going to be. And I overlapped it, right? I didn't exit and then start from scratch, which I see a lot of people doing. I
Yes.
was already assigning more people to do more things and letting it slow down. And I kept saying, I'm getting my fix. I'm going to go out and speak. And the more
Mm-hmm.
I went out and got on stages, the more I did more podcasting, the more my light started shining and the fire came back out again. And I realized that's drudgery for me now. What used to be
Mm-hmm.
really fun, and I'm still passionate about it, if you can't tell, right? If you're
Yeah,
listening,
absolutely.
right? I'm still passionate about it. I still can run circles around somebody right now without a license, just in
Mm-hmm.
strategy. And I'm excited about it, but I hit 35 years of doing it, right? Of never having a salary, of always
Mm-hmm.
being commissioned. I was just real, and I'm still that, right? But,
Yeah.
but it's a different type. And I knew I could give something back to the world. I knew that regardless of the fact that it was a mortgage business, that I could help other businesses streamline and crunch the time to their success because I had the combination. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
no key to success. It's a combination lock, right? Based on
That's right.
how much we know and what our skills are, our resources, financial resources as well. And I knew that I had the right combination happening and that there was so much more light, sunshine, and happiness here than there was here. And
Mm-hmm.
I pegged that number. So for me, it wasn't somebody's death. It was, when I get to a billion, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And 522 on a Friday, $522,000 loan amount on a Friday led to me to a 522 Monday that I resigned and said, I'm done. I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
go. And I had already tested it, right? I had been testing and overlapping. The
Mm-hmm.
day that I transitioned out of lending, at that time I had 18 private clients
Mm-hmm.
paying me a whopping $1,000 a month, which is funny now because that's like 10 minutes, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
$1,000 a month. But I left making 18 grand a month in a
Mm-hmm.
new job, in a new entrepreneurship. And I was ready. So for me, it was the planning there was not a tipping point in as much as it came to me, I discovered it, I was forced out, whatever. It was, I planned it. So your future is a series of nows. What you're doing now is determining your future. That's what I was doing, and I was ready for it.
That's incredible. What an incredible story. Lady Jen, thank you so much for joining us on 62 Who Knew.
Thank
I know
you.
our viewers are gonna love everything that we do with this episode, and
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to being on your podcast
Yeah,
next week.
I know. I can't
And
wait.
it's just such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Great job that you're doing. I love what you're doing for everybody and helping people understand what true wealth is. And too bad we can't do 42 Who Knew, because if we knew what we knew when we were 42, right,
Yeah,
we'd
40.
be
I'd watch
much
that.
further ahead, right?
I think it might have to be 42. Here's what you didn't know. You
Right.
didn't
Here's
knew. You
42,
didn't
what you
knew at
didn't
this at
know.
40. We're thinking of doing another segment, 85, and you're still alive. Maybe we
Yes.
need to give those people some advice. I want everything to rhyme. So
That's
that's
right.
just the way we
That's
are.
right.
Everybody go to www.62whoknew.com. It's a fantastic website. Everything offered on that website is free. Click on the annuity link. Click on the long-term care insurance link. Click on the long-term care planning link that will create a literal long-term care plan for you and your family. These are all free services. We want to help America age with grace. Who knew at 62 you had another 30 years left? Go to www.62whoknew. Don't forget to like and share this episode. Don't forget to do anything you possibly can to spread the word, because we got 25, 30 years left, guys, and let's make it a good 30 years. Have a great week. And again, thank you, Lady Jen.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.